Hello and welcome to the World Crypto Network, here with the last video, but we are no longer at the Mises University. No, you see my hammock back there? We are back in my hometown in southern Germany, but nevertheless, we will finish up Austrian Economics and the Mises University today. But to start off, we're going to read a good one from the one and only Murray Rothbard that I was so used to having over my shoulders. But we are going to read Education, Free and Compulsory. Great book. And we are going to read the second chapter, Formal Instruction. If everyone is constantly learning and each child's life is his education, why the need for formal education? The need for formal instruction stems from the fact that a child's faculties are undeveloped and only potential, and that they need experience in order to develop. In order for this exercise to take place, the child needs the environmental materials on which he can operate and with which he can work. Now, it is clear that for a large segment of his general education, he does not need systematic formal instruction. The space is almost always available for his physical faculties to develop and exercise. For this, no formal instruction is needed. If food and shelter are provided for him, he will grow physically without much instruction. His relationship with others, members of the family and outsiders, will develop spontaneously in the process of living. In all of these matters, a child will spontaneously exercise his faculties on these materials abundant in the world around him. Those precepts that are needed can be imparted relatively simply without need for systematic study. Second chapter of this great book, Education, Free and Compulsory, by the one and only, Murray Rothbard. He founded the Mises Institute, and that's where I spent the last week getting myself educated freely, not compulsory, but freely, in a formal instruction session there at the Mises Institute. We heard, of course, countless lectures. And those lectures are, they are the one and the only way that you can get your formal instruction, is by gathering up information, right? The first step of the trivium. And this is exactly what we did there. We got a bunch of information. Not just we, we all, you were part of this. You could watch the lectures online and get all those informations pretty much for free, exactly for free. So the informations were there. The second step, of course, was that you have to understand the information that is given. And you do that, of course, internally, making your argument and your judgments on the information that was given. But of course, you can also get help from others. And the conversations, communications, and arguments, debates are really important for this as well. So if you have the chance to study with other students and with professors that you can talk to, and that they can give you even further information that you can further use to process the information and help you on your way to understanding it. But it is important. They can only help you. You cannot get understanding externally. Understanding is always a process that comes from within. And that is why we also need to sometimes be in a formal instruction environment where we can flourish in our understanding of the subject. But again, this is not the last step of the trivium, because the final step of actually achieving wisdom is to act upon the information that you now understand and to go out there in the world and do something with it. Because only if you physically, like in the real world, go out and do something, only then do you have the full realization of the potential knowledge and understanding, which is wisdom. This is the basic trivium, and this is absolutely one fundamental building block that is cherished here at the Mises Institute, because that's exactly what they teach. They do not teach you stuff. They do not teach you the trivia, random stuff, numbers that you're going to forget anyhow. No, they teach you how to learn. And the big step of that is, of course, free education and not compulsory education. Because if you are not there voluntarily, You're not going to learn anything, nothing. You will not achieve any understanding if you're being forced to do it. Why? Because there cannot be any understanding that comes from the outside. Well, and I can only say thank you to all those that joined us, and especially joined me here on the World Crypto Network. All those in the audience, thank you so much for listening to me blabbering on about economics, a subject that I'm really passionate about, because I'm passionate about Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is fundamental in Austrian economics. So I really enjoyed my week, and I enjoyed providing you the content. And I really am thankful that you all stuck around to listen, which is not, of course not, something that everyone would do. Of course not. There are other things that you could do with your time. But with you watching this video and watching all the 17 or 18 videos that I did last week, you proved that you care. You proved that you want to get educated. You wanted to have the information, you wanted to understand it, and now you also want to work with it, hopefully. Because that is when you come full circle. That is when actually the stuff that you did the last couple of weeks or days meant something. If you go out there and apply the understanding, the knowledge. And this is something that only you can do. But I highly encourage you to. Because why wouldn't you? You have gathered so much new knowledge in the last couple of days and in the last couple of years. It wasn't just this week here at Mises Institute. I hope you've been educating yourself all forever. And if you did, do something with it. Because you are a smart young man or woman. And yes, you will hopefully, and I really truly do hope so, use this information that you got and apply it. Do something with it. That is important. So we talked at the Mises Institute for hours and hours and hours. And unfortunately, I could only show you so much, right? But I do hope that the few 17 or 18 videos, that they captured the spirit of the moment, that they showed you how studying can be, how motivated a student can be, and how much a student can learn if he wants to. And this is just fantastic. So first and foremost, I thank you in the audience for sticking around, not just for the lectures that you can get for free at Mises Media or Mises.org, but also for here, the students, the professors, and all the life experience that we had here on the World Crypto Network. Like amazing interviews and amazing professors. But I do not just want to thank you, dear audience. I also want to thank, first and foremost, all the professors, because the professors dedicated their time and their effort and their energy and oftentimes their money to speak in front of us students who did not pay for them. We did not have to pay because most of the professors donated their time, which is fantastic. Why? Because now you realize that those people, they are not in it for the money. They could care less. Yes, money is nice, making a profit is nice, but sharing information, sharing a non-scarce good and making sure that it will flourish and be nourished in the next generation is fantastic. I remember Walter Block saying on this very podcast here that Murray Rothbard was a great mentor for him. And Murray Rothbard was really focused on sharing his knowledge and on welcoming as many people as possible to this movement, to this freedom movement, because he understood the power of the idea. And of course, Murray is no longer with us, but he did give something to Walter. He gave him the spirit and the passion to teach, to share his knowledge, to share his information, and to try to help the people to get the understanding and hope that they will apply it. And this is beautiful. So thank you very much to all the professors at the Mises Institute. Honestly, those are by far the best professors and economists and ethical moral preachers that I've ever come across. And it was a blast listening to their speeches, asking them questions, and hearing their replies, which they were amazing. Like it was fantastic to have a well-founded educational conversation with people that want to teach you, and those people know that you want to be taught. That creates, well, a free educational environment, which is fantastic. But of course, the professors, although they were amazing, were not the only people there. I also want to thank all the Mises U students that took their time out of their summer to come up there or down there to Auburn, Alabama, which is honestly not that good of a place to be, especially if on the campus is almost nothing because it's summer break. I could think of many, many things that many people would much prefer to sitting in Auburn, Alabama and talking about economics. So to all those students that took their time out of their busy schedule to get educated and to share their ideas and to contribute to this process of education, I thank them very, very much, because the conversations that I had with the students were probably even better than those that I had with the professors, because you talk to peers, right? You talk to people that are on the same level than you, or that used to be on the same level just a couple years ago. And they know how it is to seek knowledge, to seek wisdom, and they can support you on this journey as well. So absolutely, if you get the chance to study with such great students, with such great young adults that want to get educated, it's just a fantastic experience. And of course, I also thank all those students that joined us here on the World Crypto Network to get their word out, to show you that education can actually be fun. And education can actually be really, really nice if it's free and voluntary, right? And all those students that you saw here on the World Crypto Network, looked any of them sad? No, they were on fire. They wanted to be here. They really enjoyed themselves. And that is fantastic, because it shows you that education can be something beautiful, because it is a lifelong journey. And if you do not enjoy education, then something is wrong with that education. Of course, I also want to thank all the professors that joined us here at Mises, at World Crypto Network. We had several of them. Just to name a few, Jörg Guido Hulsmann joined us, which was fantastic. Walter Block joined us, which was also amazing. Bob Murphy was there, Joseph Salerno was there. We talked to many, many people. I wish to get on a couple more, but I mean, they're not out of this world. We might just do a Skype or a Hangout interview with them eventually, because I do want to introduce you to most of them, because they're all great thinkers and great economists. So thank you to all those that already were here at the World Crypto Network, and hopefully there will be many more. So we already thanked the professors and the students. Of course, I have to thank specifically the staff for organizing it. Pat, you were amazing. You really ran the show. It was perfectly well organized, and with almost no hiccups, which is almost impossible with such a conference. It is really an honor to know that someone is so passionate about organizing those events, those meetups. And as I also am organizing meetups and events, this is really good to see how other people organize it, how they do it, how they communicate with the students. And the communication was outstanding. And we actually got help. It wasn't a hassle to sign up at Mises U or to organize a shuttle from the airport to the campus. No, we actually got support from the people that were organizing it. And honestly, when have you ever gotten a support, like a true, like valuable support from your high school teacher to help you organize something? Especially not with this passion that Pat put on there. She was smiling all week long. It was apparently a fantastic experience for her. So I thank all of the staff that helped organizing it. But also then, last but definitely not least, I want to thank all those many, many, many donors to the Mises Institute, because it is an institute that is mostly, pretty much all funded with donors, with voluntary people that realize the importance of such a pristine institution that will teach the next generation of freedom fighters. And many, many people do see the value in that, and they try to contribute. And even a little bit helps. You don't need much. You really don't. It's not about the money. It absolutely is not. We are in here to free the world, to end slavery, to end the government, right, and the state, to bring freedom and prosperity to this world. And this is much, much bigger than any one of us, and much bigger than any single donation or money that we could wish for. But nevertheless, it helps. It really does help. And I guess Thomas can really speak a word on this here at the World Crypto Network, how much donations actually help. It's not that we're going to buy a Lambo with it. It's not like the Mises faculty is running around with like tailor-made suits and everything. No, they actually use the money wisely. They use it in a way to spread the world of freedom. And of course, one big thing that they do is pay for the tuition for all the students. All the students that were there at the Mises Institute and the Mises University had a full ride scholarship to all the lectures, staying at the dorm, and a full meal 3 times a day. Which, if you took it, like I had to do live stream, so unfortunately I couldn't take breakfast and lunch, but I was very happy for the dinner that the Mises University provided for us. And that is something that would not be possible without dedicated people that want to support this cause without necessarily wanting to contribute physical labor or intellectual labor. Of course, there are many, many other ways that you can support the Mises Institute other than a money donation, hopefully a Bitcoin donation, address in the description below. It is just important that we need to stick together because we are fighting a fight here. This is a war, and not just an economic and a financial warfare, but also a spiritual warfare. The people do not want to live in a free society. This is shocking. And education is key for this. And so I thank, from the bottom of my heart, all those donors that made the university possible and that continue to make the Mises Institute possible. And I myself, of course, am a donor, but I don't really see it as a donation. I see it as a payment for a service of an incredible amount of education that you can get for free at Mises.org. Just a couple seconds ago, I downloaded this book, Education Free and Compulsory, for free on the website Mises.org. Didn't cost me a penny. And why? Because the Mises Institute actually understands that this is not about money. This is about spreading the idea of freedom and making sure that sooner or later, hopefully sooner, we will end up in a free society. But this will not come out of nothing. We actually have to fight for this. And a donation is just something that really, really helps. I also enjoyed going to the bookstore, which is another great way that you can go out and donate a little bit because you get something in return. So I do now have a silver Rothbard coin and a silver Mises coin. And I do have a couple nice stickers with a nice Murray Rothbard quotes on there. And of course, you could get a bunch of books and just t-shirts, mugs. I have an M the Fed mug, which I'm absolutely going to take to Deutsche Bank and put it on my desk. Tell them that we should end central banks. So there are many different ways that you can contribute. There has been also a great lectures talking on how you can write for Mises.org, for the Mises Wire. They publish at the minimum 3 articles a day, and you could be one of them. Anyone is eligible to create content on their platform, similar to the World Crypto Network. Just has to be good, has to go through peer review, and that is not easy. But if you want to contribute, and if you can write or do a podcast or something, or just spell check for stuff, and make sure that everything is nice and edited, you can do that. And it is greatly, greatly appreciated. So those are so far all the gratitudes that I had to speak out. In general, thank everyone who was involved in, or who is involved in this fantastic bastion of hope in education that we still have. Yes, it is in Auburn, Alabama, which is kind of a joke city. But nevertheless, it has an important place there. And its presence is really powerful. And I cannot imagine how many lives the Mises Institute has changed to the positive. Guess what? We would not have Bitcoin without the Mises Institute. We would not probably have the internet without the Mises Institute. We would not have such great scholars like Saifedean Ammous, who wrote the Bitcoin standard, without the Mises Institute. And most definitely, you would not be talking to me without the Mises Institute. Because yes, Andreas Antonopoulos did teach me a lot about Bitcoin. But the vast majority of the education and the really understanding of why Bitcoin is so important, I got all from the Mises Institute for free. And that is just fantastic. So I thank everyone and all the people at the Mises Institute who are great human beings, and 100% I will be back to the next Mises University. And I really, truly hope that over the last week, I could convince you that this is a pristine organization that is worth not only your support, but your attention. Because the attention that you can give to this cause is much bigger than all the support, financial support that you can make. Because if you get educated, if you take those informations, understand them, and then apply them, then this trumps each and every donation that the Mises Institute could hope for. Because if we have just one more freedom fighter that fights for our liberties and for our prosperity, then we have already won. And that was all that I wanted to do with this show. I wanted to just introduce you to the education and the economics of liberty, of freedom. And I did get so much great feedback from you guys, so thank you so much. I honestly can't tell you how glad I am that so many people reached out to me on my personal Twitter and told me that they really enjoyed the content and that they want to see more, and that because of those videos, they really want to get educated, and they started picking up their first Rothbard book and they start reading Mises. I mean, that is an honor to introduce you to this stuff. And it is an honor to me that you take the time to get educated in that. So I cannot thank you enough for starting your journey in the education, because I do think that you will thoroughly enjoy it just as much as you did enjoy your education in Bitcoin. Maybe a little bit more. But it doesn't matter, because you do stuff, you act. Human action is what will save us. And I thank you for acting. And I thank you for being active in this community and for supporting not just the World Crypto Network and the Mises Institute, but your local community. So yeah, be active. That was basically it. That was the Mises University. A week went by extremely fast, and I have to say, I am in post-Mises U depression. Because I already want to be back, but I know it's almost 365 days till the next university. Let's hope I can get there a bit earlier. Well, let's go through the chat a bit, because I want to interact with you, because I do think that this is a fantastic opportunity just to connect and to network. So nice to see Rico, who we did a nice show with. Applications. So good to see you both in the chat. Big money cares because it scares them. Bitcoin bull run. Oh yes, the institutions are scared because freedom is coming, and big institutions do not thrive in freedom. They thrive under control. And if we take away control from them, they will collapse. So we also have the Crypto Squanch, who's been really active in the chat. So thank you very much. And he says, thank you, Max, and thank you, Mises. Well, you're very much welcome. That I can say for myself. And I agree. Thank you, Mises. So Rico says, thank you, Max, and thank you all the Mises professors. He did not know about Austrian Economics before I started this this little session here. And another example of just how fantastic it is that we now have just one more great guy that is now reading Rothbard, which is fantastic. Gester Nurse says, just like you and Thomas, Max, you guys aren't in it for the money. And that is 100% correct. I'm in it for freedom, because I want to live in a free society. And I do think that Bitcoin and Austrian economics will bring us there. And I will do everything that I can to move us just one step further towards liberty.com. I love that domain name. Rico also says that free lectures like this one are very undervalued. And this is what Austrian economics is all about. Actions from idea of sound money. Absolutely. Ideas are so important. And the great thinkers like Mises and Rothbard stress that we do need to stick together and that we do need to share ideas. So absolutely, yes, this is not about money. This is about freedom. Gesture also said that it's all about sharing the passion and the spirit of encouragement and inspiration. Pay it forward. Absolutely, this is about passion. Because if it doesn't come from your heart, if it doesn't come from within, if you yourself are not convinced in what you're doing, you're a hypocrite. and people will realize that. And a passion and a 100% representation of those values is really, really valuable. Jester further says that now it's time to put our gained knowledge into action. Absolutely. Get out there, do something. I don't care what you do, but do something and bring us towards liberty. That's all we can do, one step at a time. Oh yeah, Rico says, you're going to the Honey Badger at Latvia, Maximal Liberty. So I for 100%, I'm going to go to the Honey Badger, to the Money Badger conference in Riga, Latvia. 100%, because the panel is awesome. Look at it. It's mind-blowing. So absolutely, I've followed the last session last year online, and this year I'm going to be there in person. Hopefully going to do a couple live streams. Jester says, Max, I hope you got Attila's contact info. You need to start a show on here with him, if willing, Max. I agree. Attila is one of those amazing students. That was a pleasure to meeting him. 16 years old and already so much more smart than I could ever be. Incredibly well-educated young man, and it's amazing to see what passion can do. And yes, absolutely, Attila is actually starting his own podcast. Isn't that amazing? He has not yet set up the site. I do not know the name yet, but he is convinced that he has a nice voice and he should speak. He can speak his mind, and if he does, many people will be thankful for him. I for sure will, and absolutely, we will get Attila back on one of those shows eventually. Sooner or later, he will join us. But yes, he will. Crypto Daddy says, dude, your apartment, oh my God. I got a hammock. What else would you want in an apartment? That's all you need. IBLB says, we are in it for the tech. Yes, we are in it for the tech. We're not in it for the prize. That's boring. We're in it for the tech, because the tech will make us free. Rico says that he might go to Latvia, to Riga, and I hope so, because the Honey Badger conference is just so good. Chaotic Crypto says that rent is killing him, though he wished that he could donate, but these landlords are cutthroat. That's crazy. Sounds like summer camp. Yes. Well, it is summer camp. It actually really is summer camp, but you just talk about economics all day long and all night long. So it's kind of like an economic summer camp. And of course, do not donate money if you do not have enough for yourself and your family and your loved ones. Because you first always have to take care of yourself before you can take care of others. So definitely do not take on a credit to donate. That would be bizarrely stupid. And I wouldn't want that. Like, I would not want to have your donation if you cannot afford it. If you want to donate, but you cannot afford the money value, donate your time, donate your energy and your effort and your skills, because that is so much more valuable than money, especially if you don't have that much. Because then the small money that you have, you value really, really highly. But if you then only quote unquote, donate 20 bucks, 0.001 Bitcoin, which is not that much, but for you it is much, then you have given not that much, but you had to give up quite a bit. So donate your time, donate your skills, donate your voice, and speak about this. This is much more important than any donation. Can I contribute to your rent fund? You need to move. Yes, Crypto Daddy, absolutely. Chaotic Crypto, he should move. Get a rent that is cheaper, get an apartment that is cheaper, and just try to live minimalistically. You don't need that much. You need food once a day, you need water. Yeah, it would be nice to have a roof over your head. Yeah, internet connection would be nice, especially in the digital age. You can get a hammock. I think it's going to cost you like 70 bucks, so you can pay for it in Bitcoin. I ordered mine in Mexico, paid for it in Bitcoin, obviously. So yeah, try to get a new apartment that is a bit cheaper so you can get your hands on more Bitcoin. Isn't that nice? Maximal Liberty. So that is Nico. He says, I calculated that it will be cheaper for me and the family to hit the road in an RV than staying in Helsinki. So that's probably what we are going to do. Oh yes, Fiat money blew up all the housing prices, all the rent prices in the city cores. Thank you, government. Thank you, central banks. Really great that we now have to pay more for living. It's good that you steal from us. It's like, we'll really like that. So if you can go out there and go in an RV and live your life minimalistically, do it. You don't need much to live. Bit of food, bit of water, shelter, and the rest is love, right? It's a war going on in the streets every minute, and you ain't gonna walk out of your crib to step in it. Well, Chaotic Crypto, I do agree that there is a war going on. Absolutely. Look at the Middle East. There's been non-stop war ever since like 1912 when the First World War started, the Great War. We have been in war pretty much non-stop. We don't have to be. I don't think that we have to kill people. I think we can live in a free society. But you can go out of there and walk the walk and talk the talk. Because if you go out there in the war zone and you talk and you educate the people about freedom, they might just stop killing each other. And that is something, well, worth dying for. Crypto Daddy says that RV living is just about as expensive as renting. I looked into it, I did the math. That's good. Don't trust, always verify. 23 US says that there's nothing wrong with a small apartment. It's less crap to clean up. Absolutely. Rico further says that Austrian Economics is the absolute best. Thanks, Max, for sharing with us Mises. That's all I did. I just introduced you. I just gave you information. I didn't do much. I really did not do much. I just gave you information. It's on you to try to understand it, and it's on you to go out and act. And that's actually the difficult part. Giving you information is easy. Read a book. It's as easy as that. We have more stuff talking about rent. Yep, that's what the business cycle does to you. Drives up housing prices. Oh, Nico says that he just started Man, Economy and State with Power and Markets by Murray Rothbard yesterday. Done with the part 1, already blowing my mind. Everyone should read it. Without Max, I probably would have never found that book or learned so much about Austrian economics. Nico, thank you for saying that. Really, it means a lot to me. And I'm so glad that you got around to pick up Man, Economy and State. It truly is the book of everything. Rothbard, it is a masterpiece. It talks about everything. If you only read one book about economics, it's this one. Yes, it's tough. Yes, you should read it several times because it is dense as fuck, but it is worth it. Absolutely. Because there is so much knowledge in there. No, there is so much information in there. I almost messed up the trivia in there. Crypto Daddy asks, why is it called Austrian Economics? Why Austrian? Yeah, good question. We actually didn't talk about that. Well, quite simple. The early advocates that really wrote down the Austrian economic theory of freedom in economics came from Austria. That's it. Karl Menger, he was an Austrian. He lived in Vienna. Eugen van Böhmerberg, another Austrian, also I think lived in Vienna. Ludwig van Mises, of course, the great last knight of liberalism, great book by Guido Hülsmann, he also came from Vienna. So just most of the prevalent thinkers of the late 19th century, early 20th century, yeah, they actually lived in Vienna and they lived in Austria. That's where the name comes from. It's quite simple, actually. Jester says that Max, it's pronounced Gesterner. Thank you very much. When you read Gesterner, it's an ode to David Gesterner, the inventor of the copy machine. Oh, interesting. Copying machines are fantastic, right? Because they take something, they make a copy. So the original owner still retains property rights in the original, but he can give out a copy, basically for free, because he doesn't have to give anything away, because he still retains the original. In a sense, not 100%, but in a sense, a copy is a non-scarce good, right? Because in the act of me giving you the copy, I still retain the original. So I don't have to, property rights do not apply here, prices do not apply here, and we can share as much as we want because we do not have to allocate a scarce resource. Amazing. Yeah, nice name then, if it's based on the dude who invented non-scarce goods. Didn't invent them, but made them more popular. Well, okay, Counter Crypto, good point. It's not Austrian, more ancient, but whoever got the money makes history. Really, 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 really good point. Austrian economics only talks about a small, small sliver of libertarian and liberal idealism. Austrian economics just talks about, well, the economics of liberalism, of freedom. But freedom is nothing new. Freedom was not started in Austria. Freedom is human. Every human person is free, period. So freedom is inherent in creation and logic and whatever you want to call it. Might be divine, it might just be sense, common sense, right? It doesn't matter how you believe in it. It's just important that you do believe in freedom. So yeah, Austrian economics, that's a short sliver of history. Liberalism goes back to ancient times. Because, well, that's what the universe is. Crypto Daddy says, I used to be enthusiastic like him when I was young. No, I hate everyone, except you guys. Well, I do think that young people might get a bit more easily passionate about a topic, but that doesn't mean that older people cannot. Quite on the contrary, if you're an older person, wow, great, educate the young. You have mounted so much knowledge, so much understanding and wisdom in your brain. Share it with others. You should be enthusiastic about that because we, the young fellows, can learn from you. And you can be a guide to us in our journey to education. So absolutely share and be enthusiastic about sharing. 100%. Crypto Daddy says green screen with a beach background. Well, I do not have a beach background, but I do have a hammock, which you typically find on a beach. So I guess this is kind of it. I don't know. I still butchered the pronunciation of Gestetner. I hope I did pronounce it right. There isn't tet in there. So, okay. And last question, maybe. Gesture asks, Max, do you think that the world will ever return to an Austrian economic model? And what will it take? Ooh, juicy question. You know what will bring Austrian economics? What already has brought Austrian economics back into the big picture? Bitcoin. If Bitcoin will survive, and hopefully it will, I do believe it does, Austrian economics will prevail because Austrian economics is so fundamentally programmed into Bitcoin, it's not even funny. That's why I keep on saying Satoshi Nakamoto studied at the Mises University, or he was a professor at the Mises University or Mises Institute. 100%. There is no doubt. There is so much amazing amount of knowledge, Austrian economic knowledge in Bitcoin and wisdom in Bitcoin. Because Satoshi actually went out and did stuff, right? He didn't just sit around. Cypherpunks write code. So absolutely, we will see a return to freedom. The trend is in our favor. Historically speaking, over the last 1,000 years, we are so much more free than we were 1,000 years ago. Yes, the last century was kind of shitty. Government killed a lot of people, a lot of control, a lot of slavery. Yeah, we'll break him. Trust us. Don't trust us. Verify. Break him yourself. So yeah, hopefully. Nico says, we are Bitcoin maximalists and state minimalists. That's actually funny. He further says that also frugal lifestyles, that is minimalism, simply makes sense. Saving money is even better than earning it. Well, you have to earn it in order to save it. So earning money comes before saving money, but saving money is really important. Of course it is. Hodl your Bitcoin. Don't spend them. Don't waste them. So I guess that's pretty much it right now. We have talked for like 40 minutes. And mainly, I just wanted to speak my eternal gratitude for the Mises Institute. What they have with Mises.org is a weapon. It is a weapon of the mind, because it gives you all the tools that you need to get educated, to become understanding and become wise. Because all the information that you need for that is available for free. And that is fantastic. I do love the Mises Institute, not just in the economics that it teaches and that it teaches it for free, but also in its, well, action, right? That's what we all talk about. We want to act. And guess what? The Mises Institute has been acting to fight for our freedom since 1983, when Murray Rothbard and a bunch of others founded it. So 100%, I am in full support of them. I do disagree with many, many statements that they make. Don't get me wrong. Their stance on Bitcoin is bullshit, and they are not educated in Bitcoin. I hope I did educate a couple of them, and I hope they will all pick up Saifedean's The Bitcoin Standard, and he will do the education for them. Right? So absolutely, yes, I do thank the Mises Institute, the professors, the students, the staffs, and also the donors for all that they have done for this great movement. And again, I thank you, the watchers, for being active in the chat, for asking your questions, and for sticking with me. I know economics is not for everyone, but sure as hell it is important. Because if we do not have a sound economic theory, we will never have freedom. So thank you for watching us. We do have a couple more questions that just got in. Max says, or no, Lucid says that, Max, what will the second wave of Bitcoin FUD be? Will it be there will be no loans? We won't be able to pay for hospitals, schools, etc. How can we combat that narrative? Yes, there will be many, many waves of FUD coming. I do like the point that there will be no loans. And we actually talked about this a lot, and I will make an entire video on this. But basically, Bitcoin is very, very deflationary. Jörg Guido Holzmann had a great talk on deflation at Mises University. And basically, in a deflationary currency, the value of the currency goes up. So if I have 1 Bitcoin today, and I will loan you 1 Bitcoin, well, the 1 Bitcoin that you will have to repay me in 10 years' time will be so much more worth than it is right now, because Bitcoin is a deflationary value, right? So the question is, how will loans work in such a drastically deflationary currency? We don't know. Maybe you just have to peg it to purchasing power. Hopefully Bitcoin will be stable really, really soon, and really, really stable. I do hope so. I don't know. This is something for a really long video that we have to discuss about. Nico says, it's mainstream Keynesian consumption drives economy. The rhetoric bullshit that people think otherwise. Absolutely. The state wants to make you consume. They want that you spend all your money on useless stuff. Keynesian economics teaches you exactly that. Crypto Daddy says, thank you for taking us there, and I really enjoyed seeing all the older guys. Absolutely. There are many older guys in Austrian economics because it is kind of an old study, right? But it's also new. So, Gestetner, I hope I pronounced it correctly on the 4th or 5th time. Max, you will be included in the history of the Mises Institute just for educating them on the fundamentals of Bitcoin. Well, I don't think that I necessarily will be held in the memorias of the Mises Institute. There are others that really provide a bunch of really great content. I hope Saifedean gets mentioned, and I hope Saifedean will become part of the Mises faculty. Because his book is just phenomenal, more than ever I could provide in my nonsense ramblings. So, okay, I will end it here. Thank you very much, all of you, Mises Institute supporters, donors, students, professors, staff, and of course the audience here at the World Crypto Network. I had a blast doing this for you, and I thank you so much that you listened to all those 18 videos now. I enjoyed making every single second of it. I enjoyed being at the Mises Institute every single second of it. And I cannot wait until the next one. And I truly do hope that I will see you there. And if we meet again at the Mises University in 2019, then we can sit together and talk about all this stuff, not just when I'm live on air, but pretty much 24/7. So be prepared. You're going to talk into the dark, dark night at like 3 o'clock. But it's going to be the most fascinating conversations that you could have. So, thank you for joining me. And the future here on the World Crypto Network looks exciting. Just saying, there is a title for the next show. Guess what it is? Read Rothbard and use Bitcoin. I kind of like it. What do you think? So leave your comments in the chat below. And see you then on the next show here that I will do at the World Crypto Network. No idea when, no idea about what topic, no idea about whom. But I'm probably just going to continue talking what I did talk about. So thank you very much for joining me. And now I will truly go to bed, because tomorrow is the first day back in the reality of working at Deutsche Bank. That's going to be funny. See you guys on the next show. And thank you for joining me.